Alright, I think we're live. Let's find out though. Let's see if everybody can see me, hear me okay before we go any further. And we'll get going on this thing. See Chris Olson, sorry, Evans Lawless, Randy Peter, or Prether, sorry, Rick Wancourt. It's hot. My mouth is not working. Well, let's make sure that I'm not frozen or anything. Loud and clear from Jim Dombrowski. Cool. Excellent. Great. That means we can start this thing because it is hot in here. The faster we do this, the faster we can get back to the air conditioning.
Diver, diver, diver.
Alright, there we go. Happy Sunday to you, everyone. 7 o'clock on June 22nd, 2025. Hope everybody's doing well. It is really hot outside, at least here in northern Michigan where I am at. I don't know where everybody else is. I see Scott Garbs from southern Illinois. Hugh Maryland. Huey, I know where you're at. I know it's hot where you are, too. And yeah, Jason C. Yeah, the lake could lie down low. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't even get out today really on the big lake where it's the coolest because the winds were just ripping, absolutely ripping. I think it was close to 6 footers yesterday and around 4 today. Crystal Hansen saying, hi, boss. I'm nobody's boss, Crystal, but hey, back to you. Yeah, so couldn't even get out on the big lake to cool down a little. The Manistee Tri-Port tournament was canceled over the weekend due to weather. The ladies did go. My friend Gabe and Nick on LCK won the ladies back-to-back 2 years in a row, so congratulations to those guys. They're both really good fishermen, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, it's hot out. Ernesto from Thin Blue Line Fishing is on here. Good to see you there. Danielle Robbins, half of the Black Sheep Lures team, is on here. Good to see you, Danielle. How's your dad doing? Jason C. throwing me a $5 super chat so I can get a nice cold drink. Jason, thank you so much, and I think I will do that just now. Appreciate it. Dan Cannon was on here, the moderator. So tonight we're going to do a fishing report, and then we're going to deep dive into divers. Deep dive into divers and flash or fly. I'm going to give you what I know on them, which really isn't much. But I'll give you the basics on what I know. I'll show you how to set up divers, how to set up flash or fly, my leader links, everything that I typically run. I know I've covered this three times in the past, but it's never a bad idea to get back to the basics. And I'm sure even if you've been here for a while, maybe there's something new that you'll pick up on. But more importantly, maybe there's something you can share with everybody else on here. That's what I like to see. Eric Hot as heck back in St. John's. Yeah, don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Hey, don't forget to take the poll. Poll question for the week. If you could only listen to one type of music for the rest of your life, what genre of music are you choosing? And you got 4 options. But of course, if your option isn't on here, throw it down in the comments. I'd like to hear from everyone. So, number 1, rock and roll, old and new. Number 2 option, country and bluegrass. Again, old and new. Rap and hip hop. If you're into that, hey, cool. There's some rap and hip hop I really like. Or classical. Right now in the lead, rock and roll. Country 35% in number 2. Classical's got 1% on here. That's pretty cool. Nobody for rap or hip hop yet. I'm sure somebody will chime in on that. Looks like, oh, Dave Robbins, you just super chatted me. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Dave is the other half of Black Sheep Lures. Good to see you on here. And, yeah. Dave, you're down in Indiana. I know that. How hot is it down there? I'm sure it's blazing away also. So anyway, also want to remind everybody that these Sunday night live streams are proudly brought to you by DreamWeaver Lures and Smart Troll. Check them out. The links are down below in the video description. Both excellent products. Both will help you catch more fish on the Great Lakes, pretty much guaranteed. So yeah, if you haven't checked out those sponsors yet, make sure to do that. Hop down the video description. Check them out. I'm sure you'll get something out of it. All right, let's jump right into the fishing report. We'll get that done out of the way, and then we'll get into tonight's topic. All right, fishing report. Man, I'm sweating in here. It is hot in here. We'll get through it, though. Tonight's fishing report. Of course, Huey Merrill. Huey Merrill throwing me a super chat. Steamy and Caliva. Yeah, no doubt, Huey. I don't doubt it. The fishing report for around Manistee. Of course, I'm talking about Manistee. I'm sure it's also applicable to the Ludington area, Frankfurt as well. But wherever you're at, wherever you're fishing, hey, throw it in the comments there. People love to hear what's going on in everybody else's areas. But Manistee, we're finally getting some good, strong south winds, obviously. The water temps are coming up quickly. I mean, really quickly. I haven't fished. Hey, Phil Sitar. Good to see you. Chris Olson also. Stay hydrated. Yeah, you too, man. I haven't fished since Friday. It's the last time I was able to get out. I do have several trips this upcoming week. But we got out, we left the dock at 4:45 on Friday out of Manistee. We hit, I think we hit 4 or 5 kings right away. My plan was on Friday because the women's tournament was going to start at 6, or I think it was 6 o'clock. My plan on Friday was to hit the kings for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, right straight out of Manistee, maybe a little south. And then once the tournament started, was to boogie on up to the trout grounds, which starts really about the 18s or the 19s. It goes north up by Onekama. So that's what we did. We ended up running, of course, our normal spread, 4 divers, 3 downriggers, and as many long lines as we could, depending on the amount of customers. And we ended up hitting, like I said, 4 or 5 kings right off the bat. A couple came on diver, flasher, fly. A couple came on long lines. 225 copper went, I think, once, and 13 color went once. And I think a downrigger went as well. Anyway, we got those 4 kings in. Or we got as many in as we could. We didn't get them all in. We got those into the boat, and we boogied on up to the trout grounds, set lines right, I think, about in the 18s or the 19s. I think it was about the middle of the 19s. Put our lines down at the bottom from trout, and they were absolutely snapping. Divers were going on the bottom, highs and lows, and the center downrigger with a flasher fly on it. Flasher flies, of course, on flasher spinning glows or whirly gigs on all of those, and the trout were absolutely jumping on them. So I don't know if that's still going to be set up the same way over the weekend with after all this the south wind. I have a feeling, though, based on past experience with south winds, when we need that warm water, it generally will bring the fish up. And I know south of us, Michael Gothrop, thanks, man, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Normally when the fish are south of us and we're waiting for them to arrive, we get those south winds going, that water temp starts warming up, we generally get a good push of kings that come into the area. So my general thought on this, if I was going out tomorrow, and I'm not, it's still be blowing to beat heck out there. But if I was going out tomorrow, I would work 130-ish to 200, somewhere in that range. I'd have to let the fish tell me where they're at, because obviously I don't have any intel over the weekend. Nobody's been out fishing, so I would work that 130 like out to 200. I would have flasher and fly down, of course, on all 4 divers. I'd have to look to see if there even is a break setting up yet. Last I looked at the surface temps, it was right around 61. I'm going to guess it's probably 61 down pretty deep. But if there is a break, try to get some of your downriggers right in that temperature break. I normally start off with spoons on my 2-corner downriggers and a good size paddle. Normally an 11-inch DreamWeaver paddle with a fly on that on my center downrigger. My thought process always is the same on these. Even if this thing is not taking fish, and most days it does, but even if it's not, that big thing down there doing its work, cutting through the water, making a big circle, putting a lot of clamor in the water, commotion, is going to bring fish into your spread. So if you're not running a big 11-inch Dreamweaver paddle on your deepest downrigger on your boat, try it out. I'm going to tell you, it's more than likely going to get some fish coming into your spread if it's not catching them itself. It's going to get more fish to jump onto your other things. They'll come in, they'll take a look, and more than likely they're gonna jump on something else. Chuck Madden, thanks for the super chat. That's a 5 out of 10 on the goal. Thanks, everybody. You guys are great. Really do appreciate it. Riva King saying any size of the fish yet? It's a good question. Out of the kings that we caught, one was an adult. And it was one of the bigger ones that I'd seen yet this year. So what I'm seeing, no real size of the kings just yet. There's a horde of them someplace. They're somewhere. I mean, I've seen this in the past. They're either going to show up. I mean, we're getting pretty late in the season. They're either going to show up and they're going to stay here until the end of their push, which could be end of August, early September, whenever it may be. Or they're going to get around this area, which they already have been, and they're going to make some kind of a left turn, or they're going to go straight up to the north, and they're going to skip us until about the last 2 weeks of July, and then stick around until the end of the season. It's going to be a coin flip. I'm not sure which one it's going to be this year. I'm leaning towards once they get here, if the water temps hold and the food is here, they're going to stay. I would say they're just like us. That we want to be comfortable and we want to be fed. We want to sit in air conditioning and eat pizza. The fish are the same way. So if the temps are primo in our area and we have good bait, they're going to stick around. But that's part of the conundrum I'm seeing this year is I haven't seen the bait schools. Normally, by this time of the year, we've seen massive influxes of alewife coming into the shallows, into the harbor to spawn. Now, you can see them normally when you're heading out in the morning or coming in. You can see them just jumping out of the water all through those areas. I have not seen that yet. I haven't. Dave Chevalier, thanks for the super chat, man. My mate and I were just talking about that the other day. We have just not seen the bait like we have in past years. So I don't know if it has me concerned. I don't know if they're just a little late because everything this year seems to be on a later cycle. Everything this year seems to be running somewhat behind. The mayflies I'm just now seeing show up. Just a few. The bass haven't even been on some of the beds in some lakes from what I've been told. And the ones that have been, they were way late. Bluegill's the same way, late coming to the beds. So everything is on a slowdown this year. So I'm hoping the alewife is the same situation. Because if they show up, if the stars align and the planets line up and the bait shows up and the water temps are just right, we could have a phenomenal king season. We did last year. It's been really good, really. But it could be just one for the ages, starting sometime around the end of this week, middle of this week, and lasting all the way to September. It's happened before. It could happen again. I would love to see that. Anyway, if I was going out in the morning, that's what I'd be targeting. I'd have spoons on my long lines. I'd be running anything from a 2-color, because there are some good steelhead out there. 2-color, 5-color, 7-color, 8-color, 10-color, maybe even another 13-color. Randomize those things. Like I said, let the fish tell you what they want. Because when the water is all one temp, they could be in any spot in those water columns. So spread them out. Let the fish tell you where they're at. As far as copper, 200, 225s, 300s, 350s, they're going to do well for you as well. Even a 400, I ran one the other day and I got hit on it. So don't be afraid to throw some stuff down there deep as well. Divers, high divers, I'd be going anywhere from like 140 to 200, maybe 210. Low divers, 80. Yeah, 80-ish, probably out to 150-ish. I think that should be a pretty good spread to start. And just like I said, run a mix of everything. And whatever's getting snapped on, try to target in on those certain areas. If you're seeing fish on your graph too, just always be careful. If you're seeing fish on your graph, I know many people out there have a tendency, okay, there's a fish. I'm going to put a bait right in that area. Well, it doesn't mean that fish or there's going to be more fish right there at that certain depth. So you could just be wasting your time, and all of a sudden you just moved the bait away from another possible feeding fish. So don't always go off the graph. I mean, it's great to see marks on a graph, tells you that there's fish in the area, but be a little hesitant about moving things all around, pulling the spread out, throwing new baits down there just because you might see 1 or 2 fish on a graph. I think the majority, I'd say 90% of the fish that we catch, we never even mark them. We never even see them on a graph. So anyway, that's what I think on that. But tell me what you think as well. I'm always interested to see what other people think. Randy Prether, super chatting. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it. Throw you a little heart on there. All right, that's 7 out of 10 on the super chat. Appreciate that, everyone. That's really, really nice of you. All right, yeah, that's fishing report. If you've got any questions on it, please throw it in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything that I can. Eric, if I could only run 6 poles, what would I run? It's tough on Eric because it's going to be different all the time. But really, you can't go wrong with just a mix of 2 downriggers, 2 divers, and 2 long lines. You really can't go wrong that way. Scott Garbs, when I run 11-inch on the deep downrigger, do I have another line nearby to entice the strike? No, not necessarily. No, not really, Scott. Because you got to think, if that fish comes in on that 11-inch paddle, they generally don't stay right in that water column. I watch them on my graph all the time. They'll come and they'll look at a lure, and that's why I'm glad I don't have a camera down there, because I'd be going insane. They'll come and they'll look at a lure, and they normally don't stay right at that depth. They're gone. They're either going back up or back down, whichever way they want to go. They don't generally stay right at that depth. So, no, you don't have to have another one nearby. I've had plenty of times where you see a fish chasing that center downrigger, and all of a sudden the high diver goes off, and you saw that fish peel off. Whether or not it was the same fish, I don't know, but there's a good chance it was. All right, let's. I'm happy to get questions from everybody. If I have the answers, I'm happy to answer them. But let's hold off on the questions until the end. I'm going to show you guys. We're going to deep dive now into divers, flash or fly. I'm going to show you how I set up my divers, how I run them, my leader links on my divers, my leader links on my flash or flies, from everything from the 11-inch paddles to the 8-inch. I'll show you all this, and the 10-inch as well. I'll show you some of my favorite stuff. I have a nice selection here of spin doctors and paddles. I'll show you, like, if I was just basic bones starting off right now, what would I be running? How would I be running it? How would I be setting up? So let's dive into that on this week's topic of the week. All right, let's start off here with divers. Dreamweaver divers are what I run. Absolutely what I run. I've run about every other kind of diver out there. I prefer the Dreamweaver. I run black Dreamweaver divers. It doesn't mean that's the only color out there that works. It's what's worked for me for many, many, many years. So if it's not broke, I ain't going to fix it. You know what I mean? But there are guys and gals out there that will run, they'll buy a black diver and they'll color it up some way, or they'll buy a different color diver and they swear by that color. Really, I think it comes down to confidence. If you're running a certain color diver and you're getting bit on it, more than likely you're going to stay with it. But I'll give you, sorry, I made a bump table. I'll give you an idea here, though, of the color selection the Dreamweaver has on divers. The majority of the majority of the time, the sizes you're going to be running on the Great Lakes for Kings, you're going to be running 124 millimeter. For your low diver. That's got the big weight on the back end. So that's going to be your low diver. All right, I'm talking if you're running a 2-diver set. Now, if you don't know how to run a 2-diver set, or you want to learn how to, I put a link to a video down in the description. It's a video that Jim and I did quite a few years back, but it's still really relevant, and it'll show you how to run double divers. It'll show you how to run your downriggers as well with those divers. So jump on there if you got questions on that. It'll answer a lot of those for you. I should say this, if I was running just a single diver per side, I'd be running high divers. So that's what I ran in the past when I was just running 2 down on my little boat. The thing I started off with, 2 downriggers, 2 high divers, and a 5 and a 10 color. That's what I ran for years. We caught fish, so it works. But if you're just going to be running single divers, I would recommend the high divers. Some guys will tell you low divers. Really, it's up to you. But Like I said, if you're going to run highs and lows, you're going to want the 124 millimeter DREAMWEAVER deeper diver for your low diver. For your high diver, you're going to want the 107 millimeter DREAMWEAVER deeper diver. Now colors, like I said, that's up to you, whatever colors you want to run, because they have a wide selection. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, so here we go. I mean, just check these out. I don't even know, that's a watermelon. Thank God they're written on the back, because I don't know all the names. That's a Froggy Glow. That's that one came out a couple years ago. I think it's the only one of their divers that actually glows, so it's pretty cool. Froggy Glow. We're just gonna run through these. There's your clear. A lot of Great Lakes anglers like the clear. That's a very popular color. You got your Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread comes in everything. Here's another popular color, the silver or the chrome. Really high flash on that thing. Another popular color. I think overall your three most popular colors are black, clear, and silver. But there's plenty more. I'm going to keep showing you these colors. You decide which one, tickles your elbow or whatever. I don't even know what the name is on that. It says NP. NP. I don't know. It looks like a fire tiger to me. There's a green watermelon. What do they call that? They call that the Kelly Green Black Tiger. Okay. A lot of words. There's the black. That's my go-to. And if you have other divers, say you have one of these fire tigers and you don't want a fire tiger, you can paint these things all you want. I do that all the time. If I run out of black divers and they're not available, I grab a can of black spray paint, do it up. You can put tape on these things. I've seen lots of boats do that. UV tape on the sides, glow tape on the sides, glow tape on the back. You can do whatever you want with these things. Customize them all you want. There's no rules in this. What is that? Chartreuse Tiger. Really bright one. And then this one, I like this one. I'd never seen this before. Maybe I haven't, I just forgot. It's the Blue Dolphin. So it's a chrome or a silver diver. Blue on the one side, green on the other one. I do like that. So I might try that one. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to get away from the ones that I trust. Over and over. So anyway, let's set up a diver. We're going to go with the DREAMWEAVER Black, 124 millimeters. So this would be my low diver. I'll show you how I set these up. And I set up the high diver and the low diver the same way. Same leader links. Same everything. When you take that thing out of the package, the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the back. You want to figure out which side of the boat you're going to put this thing on. So port side is always port side, starboard side is always starboard side. Port side is the left side of the boat looking forward towards the bow. Always remember port, P-O-R-T, 4 letters. Left, L-E-F-T, 4 letters. Easy way to remember. The starboard side obviously is the opposite side. Right side of the boat looking forward towards the bow. On the back, you're going to see right and left, and you're going to see a series of numbers on here. So if I wanted to run this on the port side as a low diver, that would be on the left side on a setting number 1. I run all my low divers on setting number 1. So left, setting number 1. Once you have that, there's a nice little arrow there. It dials. You can't mess it. You probably can mess it up. I guarantee you probably can. I've done it. So anyway, I got left on number 1. Tighten that screw up right there. Lock that thing down nice and tight. The next thing you want to do is come up here to the arm. This is your tension arm. So the line from your pole is going to run down to this diver. This is where it's going to connect, right on that front arm. And there's a barrel swivel on there. You'll want to pop that thing into its home. Here's a little trick that I've learned over the years. There's a screw head right there. Tighten that screw head all the way down. That helps make that arm seat into the diver. All right, it'll give you less trips, false trips. Crank that thing all the way down, then back it off until you can get that thing to release with a pretty good snap of the finger. All right, and it's going to take a little time to get these things dialed in. It'll probably take a trip, maybe 2. But if you screw that thing all the way down and help that thing find its home, you'll have less time that you got to dink around with that. All right, it'll have much fewer false trips. So screw that thing all the way down. Play with that tension until it takes a pretty good snap of the finger to get that thing to release. So if you think about it, as that diver's going through the water, being pulled by your line, that plane, it's a disc, it's planing through the water, line's being pulled. When the fish hits that thing, that arm releases, and then it's a much easier fight. Okay? The back end, you have an S-clip on there. All right? Up to you whether or not you want to run a snubber or a ripcord. When I do run ripcord or do run snubbers, I use the DREAMWEAVER ripcords, and they come in a huge amount of colors as well. Black, green, red. I think about every color you can imagine. All right. I've gone away from running ripcords, and the reason is because I run reels. I run very high-end reels on my boat. I run Daiwa Saltists. If your reels have a good drag system, one that you can trust, you can go away from running snubbers. That's just my opinion, which I think gives a better hook set into that king's mouth. The king's mouth is absolutely made of armor. The better hook set you can get into a king's mouth or a trout's mouth or whatever, the better off you're going to be. So I think taking away that snubber has increased my hook sets. But like I said, if you're running a cheaper reel, say you're running an older reel or something it doesn't have the best drag system, something that's really, really chuggy when that fish is hitting, it doesn't give you a nice smooth play, I recommend running a DREAMWEAVER ripcord on there. What it is, I didn't grab one and I should have, but I think it's about a 10-inch piece long of a spiral wrapped rubber, and it's like a shock absorber. So there's not so much force going into that diver, less breakages, less lost fish. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. So we're not going to be running a snubber on this one. I'm going to set it up the way that I run it. We're going to grab our line. Which line am I using? This is another one. This is another debated question. Do I run regular monofilament? If I do, what pound test do I run? Do I run fluorocarbon? And also, what test do I run? Guys, gals, you cannot go wrong with either Andy, ANDE, or Berkley Big Game 50 pound, 40 or 50 pounds, up to you. You really can't go wrong with either one. You can run fluorocarbon, and I've done it in the past. If you want a more stealthy presentation, a lot of anglers think that fluorocarbon really gives them a couple more bites. You can absolutely go that route. Just remember there's a trade-off. Monofilament is durable. This Andy Big Game or Andy 40 pound, this Andy 50 pound or 40 pound, or the Big Game 50 or 40 pound is absolutely tough stuff. If you're trout fishing, don't run fluorocarbon. If you get a little abrasion or a little wear spot in fluorocarbon, it's going to break much easier than your Big Game or your Andy will. So if you're hard on your gear, like I said, your reels aren't the best, you don't have the best drag, I highly recommend the Andy or the Big Game 40 or 50 pound. If you want to go fluorocarbon, this is what I would recommend. This is Cigar Orange Label. The stuff is great. 40, 50 pound, either one. It's up to you. Like I said, with fluorocarbon, though, it's not that abrasion resistant. It can get really brittle at times, and especially in the sunlight. If you tie your knots without good, sufficient lubrication, you can get hot spots in your knots. It can break much easier. So if you want to dummy proof it, which is like the staple of my life motto, and your Big Game. If you want to go with the fluorocarbon, try it out. You might switch back. I don't know. It's up to you. All right, so we're going to start there. I need a couple of swivels. Let me grab a couple swivels here off these rotators. Oh, what am I missing down here? Chris Olson, Lure Jensen snubbers. Yeah, okay, so Lure Jensen makes a decent snubber. The problem I found with Lure Jensens, because I've used them, is when they wear out, they're done. There's nothing left to give on those things. The shock absorbing system that they have, when that thing wears out, a caterpillar could pull that thing back. Where with the ripcords, it gives you a much longer life and a much more repetitive system, I think, than the Lure Jensen. But again, that's all up to you, whatever you want to do. Anyway, let's set up. So we got the diver here. We know the line's coming down to the front end. Now we got to put our leader off the back, which is going to go to one of our rotators. How long a leader do I run? That's a question that I get pretty often, and I run 18 to 20 feet, sometimes 22 to 24 feet. And the question I'm going to get, and because I've gotten it a million times, is how do I net that fish? If my trolling rod's 10 feet long or 8 feet long or whatever it is, and I got a 20-foot long leader off the back of that daggone thing, how am I netting that fish? And you got to hand line them. You absolutely have to hand line them. It's something that we do about daily on our boat, and it really is not as hard, or should not be as daunting as you might think it is. Hand lining a fish, I think it gives you more control over that fish. You think about it, when you're standing up in the back of the boat, you got a 10-foot diver rod up in the air, and that fish is straight down at the back of the boat, and that fish is back there just going crazy, and you're trying to guide that thing with that little pole, and you're way up above that thing, so the angle of attack is just awful. Versus you're at the back of the boat and you're hand lining. When I'm hand lining a fish, I'm usually bending over the back of the stern, off the stern. I'm leaning over it, and I'm holding that line as close to the water as I can. If that fish wants to make a hard turn, it's nothing for me to just let it go ahead and make its turn and let the line out through my hands. I highly recommend using some good gloves. Ask me how I know to wear gloves, because I've had kings rip me in half before on my hands for running, because I run wire. So wear some gloves. Once you hand line one or two fish, it becomes second nature to you. It's much, much easier if you haven't done it than you might think. So I highly recommend giving it a try. But if you don't want to run long leads off the back of your divers, you don't have to. You can run whatever length you want. If you want to run the same length as your rod, so you can just reel that fish to the back of the boat and then net it, absolutely, it works. I think you do. I think you absolutely do get better bites, more consistent bites with a longer lead because of the stealth factor. There's another system out there that my first mate Tim uses, the S-clip. I think No Fish Nick showed that on his channel quite a while back. Called a stealth diver or something like that, secret weapon diver, I believe, something like that. Anyway, it's a way of clipping your diver onto the line itself. It's not something I do, but absolutely you can run long leads that way and just take the diver off and reel the fish in the rest of the way. So there's other ways to do it. Again, this is the way I do it. If it's different from you, we'll still be friends. It's all good. Anyway, got our diver here. We're going to stretch out about 20 feet of line. So I'm 6 feet tall, so that's about 6 feet there. And I don't use tape measures or anything for this. It's just about 3.5 good pulls of that line. About right there. If you don't have side cutters on your boat, get some side cutters on your boat. You never know when that thing could absolutely save your bacon. If you get your downrigger ball hung up on the bottom, an old net, shipwreck, mermaid, whatever, and you can't get that downrigger ball off there, and there's times people have almost been pulled under when they've got snagged into old nets. Have a pair of side cutters on your boat. These things stay sharp longer than just regular old scissors do as well, so have a pair of these on the boat. Pro tip for you. All right, one thing I do like to do is once I get my line all done, I do give it a little pull, like to stretch it out, give it a some of that. Get some of that curly-Q stuff out of there. Not a big deal if you don't, though. It'll stretch out a lot on its own. All right. Got my swivel. This is a DS6 DREAMWEAVER size 6 swivel right here. I'm going to put a Palomar knot on here. If you don't know what a Palomar, or Palomar, depending on how you say it, if you don't know what one is, look it up on YouTube. It's so super simple and super fast. I'm not going to show it in great detail right here, but you can see how I just tied that knot there in about 2 seconds. Lubricate it, cinch it down. Now if you were running a snubber or a ripcord, you would put that ripcord on first and you would attach that to the back of the ripcord. But because I'm not running a ripcord, I'm just putting that right on the back of the diver. Diver. It's all dialed in. It's on the right side of the boat. It's on the right setting. You got your arm dialed in. You got your leader done. Whether you want to do mono, whether you want to do fluoro, it's up to you. Your call. You are pretty much done with the diver setup right now. It's easy task. I just tied a knot right in that diver line. My mate Tim one time, was it last year or 2 years ago? He had a knot in his diver line, just like I'm looking at right here. And we knew about it. And I'm like, I kept asking, when are you going to take that knot out of that line? Because it could break. And he goes, it's a lucky knot. Or he said something along those lines. It's a lucky knot. Until it breaks, I'm not taking it out. And the thing never broke all year. And he caught a lot of fish on that thing too, so it was pretty cool. All right, other end. We're going to put another DREAMWEAVER size 6 swivel on that other end. Same knot, Palomar knot. Palomar, I believe. Like I said, if you don't know it, look it up on YouTube. A lot of good videos out there. And I think it's about the strongest. Oops, I just messed it up. Talking as I'm doing this. I think it's about the strongest knot out there, everybody. I've used about every other kind of knot out there. There's other ones that I do like. You know, for river fishing, I do like the fisherman's knot. For the big lake, though, for me, it's either the Palomar or it's the double clinch. It's one of those two. Call it the Chris knot, Buzz. I mean, you just, what's the old saying? If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. I've seen a few of those over the years. All right, guys, gals, that's your diver all set up. Now we got to figure out what we're putting on the end of this thing. All right. Yeah, Huey Merrill, big game fan. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what if I was just starting off? This is my mindset on this right now. If I was just starting off, what would I want to buy to have on the boat for running flash or fly? And you notice I'm not saying Spin Doctor fly because, like I said, DREAMWEAVER does make an excellent paddle as well. So we're going to call it flash or fly. I saw one guy in the comments one time got all butthurt because I didn't call it a rotator. Whatever. Call it whatever you want. Call it pumpkin pie if you want. I don't care. Call it whatever you want. Flash or fly. We'll call it that. But if I was just starting off, which ones would I want to have in the boat? So you don't have to have a million flashers and flies in the boat. Really, there's about a half dozen or so that are going to do you really, really well. Now, if you want to expand your arsenal as time goes on, absolutely go for it. Guys, gals, I have so many Spin Doctors and paddles on my boat. I should have a yard sale and clean a bunch of it out because I'd say 80% of it I hardly ever use. But it's nice to have it there. You know, if my buddy calls me up and says, hey, we're just smoking them on this one color and this one fly. It's nice to have it there if you need it. Doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily switch to that, but it's nice to have it there if you need it. Anyway, so if I was just starting off, two of the ones you absolutely got to have, is the double slick, which is called the White Pearl Glow, in the white blade and in the black blade. Now you notice I got a 10-inch Spin Doctor here and an 8-inch. When I'm running flies, I typically run, I would say 95% of the time I'm running the 8-inch. You can run them on the 10-inch, absolutely. And I'll show you the leader link that I use on the 10-inch. Where these 10-inch DREAMWEAVER Spin Doctors really, really, really shine is for meat rigs. These things really pull meat rigs well through the water. That's normally my go-to size when I'm running a meat rig. But if you're going to have just two to start with, I mean, if you had no other ones, those two right there are going to do you really, really well. Okay? Early in the morning, that's a double crush glow. This is another one in the 8-inch white blade with a crush glow on it versus the pearl glow. It's a total different look. I don't know if you can see it on there or not. Total different look though. Love this one early in the morning. It's got a little better glow, I think, than the double pearl. Kevin's girlfriend. I've caught so many fish on this thing. I mean, maybe more. That one's taken more than any other Spin Doctor. Kevin's girlfriend's not far behind it. Kevin's girlfriend and I, we have a love-hate relationship. There's times that we just absolutely split up for weeks at a time because I just cannot get this thing to go. But when it's going, it's going. And you better have that thing out there. If it's Kevin's girlfriend time, you better have that thing going. Dragon Slayer. This is another great one. Another great one. Nice UV tape on the back. Glow ladder back. Green hollow. The back has a crush UV on it. That's a great one. One that I don't have here but it's been my most consistent one this year, and it's one that DreamWeaver just came out with this year. It's that Dark Blues dagger. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you watch me put that thing together. Come up with that a couple weeks ago for one of the custom packs, and that thing has been my most consistent spin doctor. And other captains I've talked to have run that thing have absolutely had the same result. So if you go on the DreamWeaver website and just punch in dagger or dark blue or something on there on the DreamWeaver site in the search option, you're going to find it. And that thing, I would recommend having 1 or 2 of those in the boat. Absolutely. Charlie Special. You're not going to beat a Charlie Special on a really, really bright, sunshiny day. UV slick on there. Green stripe tape on there. Silver prism back on there. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are going to get you right in the ballpark to get you going. If you're not going to, if you just want to start off with the absolute basics, or you don't have some of these are great ones to grab. Another option that you got is the pack that DreamWeaver has out right now for this month. The custom pack for June and July. If you go on the DreamWeaver website, just type in limited edition or go in the other section and look up limited edition. Sorry, my nose running a little. You'll find this pack. Now, these are all paddles that I came up with over the last couple of weeks. And these are colors that I absolutely know. I fished a couple of these already, and they look stupid good in the water. So I know they're going to be good. But the best thing about this pack, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paddles, 3 of the 11-inch, and 2 of the 8-inch flip fin paddles. You're going to get them for about $40 less than you normally would pay. I think they got them on sale for like $58. You would pay over $100 if you bought every one of those individually. So another great route. If you're just looking to get into the 11-inch paddle game, go pick this kit up. Go on the DreamWeaver website and pick this kit up. I'll give you a look at these things. These don't have names yet. They're only available in that limited edition kit. But here's on this side, it looks like a BAM, but you go on the back and you got Moon Jelly with a white crushed ladder on there. Every captain I've shown this kit to has picked that one out as their absolute favorite as far as looks. This is just one that's second place, and they said this is really, really close behind. Black blade, really unique custom ladder setup on that side. Again, another Moon Jelly with a crushed ladder on that one. I like this one. I really like this one. Blacked out corners, so it looks like a king slapping its tail around. Nice muted green and blue dots on a white pearl glow double slick tape on a white blade. That thing is absolutely going to catch a bunch of fish. And then you have the 8-inch versions. One is of that one that I already showed you, and the other one is that blacked out corner one. So that kit's on sale at DreamWeaver right now if you want to grab it. I'd recommend it. If you don't have it, I know I'm going to be running the you-know-what out of those this year. But let's set up, let's set one of these up. Let's set up we'll go with that one. Let's set up a flasher fly, okay? What flies am I going to use? There's nothing wrong with the DreamWeaver Pickled Sunshine. I think that thing is the mother of all flies right there. You're going to catch fish on that all the time. Some of my absolute other favorites are the KRW. KRW is another fly company. The KRW Money Shot, the KRW Blue Green Dolphin, the KRW Aqua Gold Glow, the KRW Riverside. All 4 of those are fantastic. You're not going to go wrong with any of those that you pick out, including that Pickled Sunshine right there. Okay, let's open this up. We'll set up this 8-inch spin doctor. Comes with your fly. It comes with your hook harness, which I think is about 36 inches of line with 4 glow beads above a number 2 treble. I think that's a 4X strong DreamWeaver puts in there, 4X strong treble. I would not recommend anything less than a 4X strong or a 2X strong at the minimum. If you want to put your own hooks on here, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I do that quite often. DreamWeaver uses good hooks, but there's better ones out there. So what size hook do you want to run here if you want to customize it? Number 2 is the most commonly used size. Gamakatsu makes a great one. The old VMC Spark Points, those are my favorites. Owner makes a good one. Mustad makes a good one. Just make sure they're at least 2X strong. 4X strong is going to be much, much better for you. Okay. In fact, I would recommend going with the 4X Strung. Nathan Peabody, thanks for the super chat, man. That's 7 out of 10. You guys are great. You can go there's some train. Oh God, I'm gonna lose all these beads. There's some train of thought of going to a smaller hook. I've heard other guys doing that. Instead of going to a number 2, they go to a number 4. Thought process is it's easier for that king to get that whole hook in its mouth. A little smaller hook. I stick with the number 2s. They've always done well for me. So, like I said in the past, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. Bead selection's up to you. I prefer to, if I'm going to be running 8mm beads on my flies, which is most commonly what I'm using, 8mm beads. You can use the ones that come with them, or you can go to Purple Taco Fly Supply. They sell a boatload of beads in all sorts of colors, glows, UVs, faceted, you name it, cat's eye, you name it. They have beads after beads after beads after beads. You can customize the living, you know what, out of these any way you want. But one thing I would recommend is if your fly does not have a glow in it of some kind, that Pickled Sunshine definitely has glow in it. If your fly does not, make sure you have a couple of glow beads on your setup. You're gonna want to, you want that fish to be able to see it in the dark. Okay. All right. How long is this line on here? Oh, it's a good 40 inches or so. Anyway, let's set this thing up. All we got to do is just slide the fly right on there. Some flies come already set up. There's a lot of good fly companies out there. I'm just talking about the ones that I use primarily. One question that I get, oh God, I can't see anything anymore. One question that I get pretty often is, which side of the Dreamweaver flies do I run? Which side is the correct way to run? Do I run it with the red string being hidden, or do I run it with the red string on the outside? Red string being right there. I run them all with the red string on the outside. And apparently that's the backwards way to do it. But that's about the way I see everybody else run it too. So we're all backwards. Whatever. It's up to you. You can try it either way. But I run mine red string on the outside. Now make sure if you are customizing your beads, you have enough on there where that hook is well hidden. And that thing's hidden by about a good 3/4 of an inch right there. You can run that hook all the way down so it's just right at the tail end of the fly. But about a half inch to an inch is about where you want. Well, we're not going to get into tournament tying flies or anything like that. This is the most common setup. So this is the way we're going to go with. Now, leader length. 8-inch spin doctors. This is how I set my leader length. And don't worry, I'm going to break a tape measure out here in a second because you're all going to hate me if I don't. But I just take that thing, I bend my hand like that, and I put it right here at the top of my shoulder. Right there. That is my leader length for 8-inch. Let's see what that is. All right. Well, actually, I'll show you the other ones too. For 10-inch spin doctors or flashers, I go bent hand and I go right here to the center of my chest. Okay. And we'll measure that here in a second as well. For the 11-inch paddles, I stand up. I hold this thing right at the top of my belt buckle and I let the fly drop to the floor. And I'll measure that here in a second as well also. Those are my 3 leader lengths, though. And they work well for me. You can sit there and you can tape measure it out every time. I find this just to be faster. So 8-inch, 10-inch, and then drop it to the floor, put it at the top of my belt buckle. That's my 3 ways. So let's see. Okay, all you people out there, they're going to yell at me because I don't know what length that is. I won't be able to sleep at night with all the hate mail I'll get. Let's see what that is, shall we? I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm going to guess that this is right about 24 inches. Let's see. It is right at 24 inches. Exactly at 24 inches from pinch point to the back of the hook. 24 inches. Okay? Let's go here, middle of the chest. I'm going to guess that's about 30. 31 inches. Okay? That's close. About 31 inches for the 10-inch spin doctors. And then for the 11-inch, I go to the floor, top of the belt buckle right there. Let's see what that is. 38 inches. All right, so 38 inches is a pretty good starting point for that. Alright, so now you know. Now you know the numbers. Now you won't hate mail me. Alright. Where am I at here? Okay, yeah, let's set this up for an 8-inch spin doctor. Hand, shoulder, pinch it, tie a double loop knot. So I'm just making a loop. I'm tying 2 overhand knots into that. That's all I'm doing. 2 overhand knots. Snuggle it up. Snuggle, snuggle, snuggle. Lubricate. Cut off your excess. You know, has anybody else ever done this? You tie your fly on there and you go to cut off the tag end and you cut your fly off. I've done that. I guarantee you, you've done it. If you haven't, you haven't been tying enough flies. I've done it several times. There's your fly right there for an 8-inch spin doctor. Put the and what I love about DREAMWEAVER stuff is they come with double swivels. So when you put that thing on there, now you have a swivel right there at the back, so you can just put your fly on there. So which side do I tie, or which side of the spin doctor do I put my swivel on? Okay, if you look at that spin doctor, you got 2 different holes. One by the fins, one away from the fins. I run all mine right at the fins. I don't know anybody that doesn't run it on the other, or doesn't run it by the fins. And what that really boils down to is one side of this, when it's spinning through the water, has a much more aggressive whip to it versus the other side. The one with the fins, I think, has a much more aggressive whip. 2 holes in the front hole and the back hole, run it in the front. Okay, run it in the front. And that is it. That is your spin doctor or flasher, tied up to a fly. It's the same thing if you're running the 8-inch flashers from DREAMWEAVER, double swivel. Same thing with the 11s, double swivel. Just hook it on there. It's just your leader links are going to change. So now that you got that all set up, that thing's ready to go fish. We'll put that on the back end of our diver. $20 feet away. Put it in that front hole. That's it. Go fish now. You got your flasher fly. You got your diver. You got your leader. We covered everything. Leader links, settings on the diver, how to set up a fly, how to set up a flasher. I think we really, I don't think there's much there that we did not cover. And like I said, yeah, tied axle, yeah, you're 6'7", your measurements will be completely different. That's why I showed you what the measurements were. Hope that helped you a little. But there's not much there I don't think that we covered. And like I said, if you don't know, if you're not comfortable running divers or double divers, there's a link to a video in this video's description that shows you exactly how we do it. Shows you how to run double divers, how to reset them after a fish hits one, how to run them with your downriggers so you're not getting all tangled up. It's a system that's worked very, very well for us over the years, and I stand by it every day. So, questions, go for it. Let me have them, all right? Dan Canham, you nearly tossed a diver in the water without... Okay, Dan, I got a story. I'm not trying to trump your story here in any way, but we were in a tournament, and early morning, we run out to our spot, and I'm setting up my side of the boat. I'm ready to go, and we had a meat rig that had been super hot for us. I mean, like really, really good. I grabbed that thing and the diver rod, grabbed that meat rig, chucked it out into the water, and realized that I never attached it to my diver. So that meat rig promptly sank to the bottom of Lake Michigan, never to be seen again. And the looks, all my buddies, they didn't catch it right away. But within about 10 30, or 15 seconds, they were all looking at me like I had an arm growing out of my head. And that's just stupid things you do sometimes. You get excited and you do stupid things. We all do. Randy Visser, yeah. 55 years of fly tying, cut the wrong line many times. We've all done it. Like I said, if you haven't done it yet, you will. You will someday. We got 205 people on here. Thank you, everybody. Sincerely thank you for being here and tuning in. We got 8 out of the 10 super chats. So We almost reached our super chat goal. Thank you to everybody that super chatted. That really, really helps the channel. You have no idea. YouTube doesn't pay much. For those of you who think I might be getting rich off this thing, you are sorely mistaken. So the super chats genuinely help. Thank you. Hey, Nick R. Good to see you. Yeah, you swung by the boat. If my truck's there and I'm not on the back deck, more than likely I'm taking a nap after the morning trip. Hey, glad to see you guys. Stop in some other time. Say you checked out the Manistee River RV Resort. Yeah, cool. Glad you had a good time there. It's a nice shop. If you guys and gals out there haven't checked out the Manistee River RV Resort, make sure you do so. It's the old Insta-Launch. They have by far, the best selection of salmon gear in Manistee. Hop in there and check it out. And they got ice cream. Steve S., do I know what other leader lengths other captains run on their 8-inch flashers? I'm sure you ask 100 different captains, you might get 100 different answers. So I think the majority, though, of captains go by the old adage of 3 times the length. So 8-inch, if you measure, obviously 3 times that length would be 24 inches. Oh, my God. Math. It'd be about 24 inches. So I think the majority of the captains that you see out there are going to be right around that same length. Dan Canham, yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. Guys, if you see people's name in here on green, or in green rather, they are membership, or they are part of the membership for this channel. If you want to join that is wonderful. You get access to our private Discord page, but we are also having a meet and greet in August for anybody that's a member of this channel. It's going to be at the Manistee River RV Resort. We're going to have a nice basic tournament. Take care of the morning. Everybody's going to go out and fish, have fun, come back to the river resort, and then we're going to have a barbecue. And anybody's welcome to the barbecue. Anybody. You don't have to be a channel member. Just show up if you want to. I don't know what time it's going to be. I'm sure Dan Cannon will let everybody know that as it gets closer, but it's a nice place, and it's going to be a lot of fun that day. A lot of fun. Anybody else? Thanks, MPA. Appreciate all the thumbs up. Oh, that's weird. Say the super chat's locked out. Well, yeah, I only put a 1 hour goal on it, so that's good. We're good, guys. Don't worry about super chatting, guys. I appreciate it. I just put a 1 hour goal on that. Thank you, though. Dan Canham, 2:30 on August 9th. That's going to be the time of the barbecue. Sweet. Scott Garb's asking, any thoughts on the 12-inch fish blades? They're not for me, Scott, and I'm not saying they don't catch fish. I think it boils down to confidence again. I've run them. I've caught fish on them. I seem to catch more fish on the spin doctors than the paddles. That's just me. I probably did not give it a big enough sample size. And they're really good on meat rigs. I do know that. All right, let's check the poll. We've got 155 votes on the poll. You can only listen to one type of music for the rest of your life. I'll give you another minute on the poll here before I close it out. Which genre of music are you picking? Rock and roll, country bluegrass, rap hip-hop, or classical? Rock and roll, 62% out in front. Country bluegrass, 35% at number 2. Rap hip-hop at 2% in third place, and then classical at 1%. Hey, whatever you listen to, good. Hey, we all don't fall into certain molds. We are all different. Whatever you listen to, I'm sure you enjoy it. There's not a single one on there that I don't listen to from time to time. I like every one of them. There's a bunch of other music genres I listen to from time to time that aren't on here. Music is just a wonderful thing. Anyway, I'll give it a couple more seconds before I end that poll. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. Luke Gehring asking, is the tournament registration morning or night before? So Dan Canham is taking care of all that, Luke. It's up to him how he wants to do it. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate that. Russ Gillen saying good show. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to end that poll now. Thanks, everybody who voted on the poll. Trichosaurus. That's a cool name. You're on a small boat. Sometimes you need to run a tight setup. Clip or slide divers and torpedo divers mixed with some weighted steel sets. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't talk about slide divers. I didn't talk about any of the real kind of divers. But yeah, you can do those things as well. I've gotten away from slide divers over the year. I've found I catch more fish with a standard DreamWeaver diver. But slide divers are definitely a way that you can get a little more stealthy. Thanks, Dan Canham. Yeah, you're going to finalize the details on the Discord. Hey, don't forget, if you do join the channel membership, if you do join up, like I said, the link's down below, you do get access to our private Discord page. There's 2 different levels. There's first mate level, captain's level. First mate level gets you access to the Discord and the tournament and everything else. Captain's level gets you entries into the charter giveaways at the end of the year. It's up to you whichever one you want to do. But whichever one you choose, you have to email me so I can send you the Discord link. Please. Just email me darkbluecharters@gmail.com. I'll send you that link. Video last night of Motley Crue and Dolly Parton. Guys, I saw Motley Crue in concert. I think it was 1983 or 1984. Back when I was just a kid. And absolutely remember that concert. I waited all concert for them to play Home Sweet Home. I mean, I waited and I waited and I waited. And finally, I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And I finally get into the bathroom after about half-hour wait in line. And as I'm at the urinal, I hear them start playing that song. So, go figure, huh? Thanks, Mike Gothrop. Appreciate that. Brian Alexander. Yeah, I think I got charters with you Thursday and Friday. I better check. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you Thursday and Friday, Brian. Look forward to seeing you, man. Should be fun. All right. I think that's it. Let's get out of here. Thank you again, everybody, for being on here. Don't forget to check out all the products that I had mentioned already. Don't forget to check out that DreamWeaver limited edition setup. If you haven't got that already, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really, really good one. And if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. This'll prattle on for another 5 minutes or so after I'm done talking. Put your comments in there if I see them and there's good, if there's something I can answer for you, I definitely will. All right, we're out of here, everybody. Thanks again for everything. And we'll see you next Sunday at 7 p.m.